Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange is in hot water.
The CEO of one of Canada's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges died while he was on a trip to India.
Gerald Cotton passed away, and he took the passwords with him. And that means $190 million of customers' holdings are locked inside, and no one can access them.
Gerald.
Yes.
What's your story? You were born, now you're here. What happened in between?
On the 11th of May, 1988, Gerald Cotton was born in Ontario, Canada. He grew up in a family that owned an antique store, which shaped his early interest in computers and technology. Cotton was described as introverted and nerdy, struggling to fit in during his childhood, but those who were close to him describe him as one of the funniest guys.
He always laughed. Like, I don't know what Jerry would look like angry.
In 2010, Gerald graduated with a business degree from Schulich School of Business, and that's where his official tech journey starts.
The Bitcoin community is trying to move away from the traditional forms of currency and into this modern digital currency, which doesn't have the bureaucracy of the banks.
Maybe his interest in tech and business drew him to crypto, or perhaps it was his drive for counterculture, but in both ways, Gerald was fascinated with the overall hype of the crypto world. However, there was a problem.
But one of the hardest parts about Bitcoin was acquiring the Bitcoin, especially in Canada.
There were some initial players like Mt. Gox, a Tokyo-based exchange that dominated the global market, but these options were not designed for Canadian people, which means a slow procedure and extra fees. Gerald observed this need and came up with a solution.
So I created QuadrigaCX in 2013 for buying and selling Bitcoin.
Introducing QuadrigaCX, Canada's best Bitcoin exchange. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade Bitcoins, QuadrigaCX is right for you.
It was a cryptocurrency exchange that would allow you to exchange between Bitcoin and dollar, and for each transaction, they would charge a commission to run their business.
I like to compare it to a stock exchange. However, instead of trading stocks on our exchange, people trade Bitcoin.
When the Bitcoin bubble initiated, everyone got obsessed with Bitcoin, and for every transaction, Quadriga was earning more and more.
It's the hottest currency in the world.
Bitcoin's value has skyrocketed.
The chart looks like the left-hand side of an Eiffel Tower.
Bitcoin's value reached $11,000.
$12,000, $15,000, $17,000, $18,000.
The new currency is making a lot of people rich.
As the price of Bitcoin grew, the company also expanded. And within just 4 years, Quadriga became one of the biggest companies in the crypto world.
When Quadriga was founded in 2013, one Bitcoin was only worth $100. If you fast forward all the way to near the end of 2017, we had our touch of $20,000 Bitcoin.
When we began, we were a relatively small company, trading just a few Bitcoins every day. However, over the past year, we've grown to become the largest exchange in the country.
But this success was not only for Gerald. Anyone who invested in crypto got great returns.
The guy you see next to me is the secret Bitcoin billionaire.
In 2011, I bought Bitcoin at $2.52. And so technically, this Lamborghini only cost me about $115.
24 years old, I'm able to literally travel, do what I want to do.
People have a tendency to want to get rich quickly. So the more it rose, the more people got attracted. Everything was going well. Gerald was becoming richer than ever. He was buying a plane, buying a boat, a little island too. But then, everything changed.
Bitcoin prices plunged on Thursday as South Korea announced its plans to ban cryptocurrency trading.
China and South Korea wants to ban Bitcoin trading.
Wow.
And that was enough to really drive down the price of these crypto.
As a result, the market started crashing. Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies started to free fall. After the fall of 2018, many people filed complaints against Quadriga for not processing their withdrawal requests, which was the beginning of trouble for the company. However, Cotton explained that CIBC had frozen the company's accounts, causing a temporary problem. But before things could be resolved, the whole story took a dramatic turn.
Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange is in hot water.
Now, the CEO of one of Canada's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges died while he was on a trip to India.
Crypto CEO dies, leaving 190 million locked away.
According to Quadriga officials, Jerry was the only one who had access to passwords, so it created immediate chaos among the investors because now their wealth was completely frozen.
Gerald Cotton passed away, and he took the passwords with him. And that means $190 million of customers' holdings are locked inside, and no one can access them.
Generally, when you run a crypto company or an exchange, you have safeguards in place so that if something unexpected happens to you, your people can access it. However, in Quadriga's case, that was missing, so it sparked many conspiracies.
My initial reaction is bullshit.
The CEO died, apparently, from Crohn's disease, which kills virtually no one. Crohn's gives you a tummy ache. That's kind of what it does. For the most part, you don't just die randomly from Crohn's.
The statement of Jennifer Robertson, wife and partner of Gerald Cotton, confirms that Jerry died due to complications of Crohn's disease on December 9, 2018, while traveling in India. But she made this statement on the 14th of January, which is more than a month after his alleged death. And when his death certificate was circulating, people noticed that his last name is misspelled, which questions its legitimacy. Because there is a whole market for these kinds of certificates, which can help you to fake your death. There are thousands of people who strongly believe that Gerald is just faking his death and it's all just an exit scam. They even accuse Jennifer of covering for him.
But she's dancing at her husband's funeral. Seems weird.
Party and dance could be ritualistic, but there is something more. The story that Gerald was the only one with passwords came from Jennifer, and after his death, when the company filed for creditor protection, Jennifer submitted an affidavit in the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. On that affidavit, Jennifer said that while Jerry was alive, she was not involved in any business of Quadriga, but...
Then we discovered these Quadriga users who had bank transfers that had come to them through this property management company that she was running.
If she lied in her affidavit, she could have lied about any other thing.
The good thing about Bitcoin is that most transactions can be tracked through the blockchain. Exchanges like Quadriga use cold wallets to store the majority of their funds, which can also be traced. However, in Quadriga's case, these cold wallets were already empty before Gerald's death. And the fact that Gerald filed his will in his wife's name just 12 days before his death makes it even more suspicious. Investigation reveals that Cotton was operating through a series of fake accounts like Chris Markey, R2D2, C3PO, and Scepter Jerry. He used these accounts to create fake assets, which means Jerry was using Quadriga as a personal piggy bank. Cotton was running Quadriga as a Ponzi scheme, which means whenever someone ordered a Bitcoin, he took the money in his fake accounts and there was no real Bitcoin added in the customer's account. And if an individual wanted his money back, he just took it from other users and paid it back.
You see, the enemy of a Ponzi scheme is people leaving your Ponzi scheme. And that's what started happening in early 2018.
A shocking 80% crash in the cryptocurrency market. $640 billion have been wiped out in the year 2018.
As the market crashed, people rushed to withdraw their money from Quadriga, and that's how Quadriga failed to honor the withdrawal requests.
In a typical situation, we would have taken enforcement action. However, because Mr. Cotton was deceased, we couldn't have our court hearing this case.
No matter what's the reality behind Gerald Cotton's death, the collapse of Quadriga is one of the most crucial events of the cryptocurrency world, which not only questions the regulation of this industry, but also exposes the vulnerable side of these exchanges. Over 76,000 users lost a combined sum of $250 million, which makes it the biggest crypto scandal in Canada's history. In 2020, Ernst & Young, the court-appointed monitor, was able to recover only $46 million, which means that justice is still delayed. Gerald Cotton may have faked his death and got away with millions, but what happens when scammers don't disappear? They go viral. To find out how they did it, just click on this video.